You are now watching Unks in the Building. Resident Unk Byron is here along with my fantastic wife, Stacy. Again, we're going to continue where we left off.
Hello.
If you remember, if you watched it, I don't know how long ago you would have watched this, but we were reading Reddit stories and effectively left off with a cliffhanger due to it saying it's a trigger warning coming. So I'm here in the exact same outfit as I was then.
Looking good though.
Well, I appreciate your kind words. But yeah, we're here. We're here, and we're going to go through this Reddit story. Please join us on our journey.
All right, so this is from the subreddit, the best of Redditor updates.
Okay.
So the trigger warning is emotional infidelity and obsessive behavior.
Oh, we love a session, right?
My 31 male wife, who's 28 female, wants a divorce because I live an entirely different reality with my first love, female 29, in my dreams.
Oh, wait a second. He's Bruce Wayne by day and Batman at night in his dreams. So not
Correct.
Even real. So this is okay. Go ahead.
I, male 31, have been with my wife, female 28, for 3 years. We had a short engagement, married quickly, and have a perfectly ordinary existence. Mm-hmm. I love her. She loves me. So we do taxes, housework, watch movies, all the normal things. No physical
Rom-coms.
cheating. Right. No physical cheating on either side as far as I know. But here's the thing. I am a lucid dreamer, which means I can, to an extent, control my dreams, which is something I find cool as it allows me to go on adventures while asleep. It also makes scary dreams not so bad because I can just wake myself up out of them. Over the last year or so, I've been having a recurring dream about my ex, my first love, female 29. Truth be told, I never got over her. We were together for 5 years, from 2017 to 2022. Oh, that's what?
3 years ago.
And he's been with his wife for 3 years. Okay. So immediately after, I guess he got with his wife.
Short engagement.
We broke up after I graduated from college because she didn't want to move to New York to South Carolina with me, which is where the biggest industry for my field is. I was crushed but moved on, and we've spoken sporadically over the years, although we never crossed any lines. I will admit I've kept up with her social media a bit, but nothing stalkerish.
Oh, he's old.
Stop. Well, a year ago, she announced she was getting married.
Ooh,
and I experienced a resurgence of feelings for her, although I never acted on them or told her. That same night,
how dare she?
I dreamed about her for the first time in years. In the dream, she showed up at my door and asked me if I wanted to get coffee. I said yes, of course. The dream, which was not a lucid dream, ended there. It felt so real, I couldn't shake the feeling once I woke up. It felt like we were actually reconnecting. Since then, I've dreamed about her several times a week, and I've practiced becoming lucid, so I've been able to control the outcome more times than not. We've lived a whole life together over the past year. Everything from dates to a trip to Paris together, which we visited while in college. We even re-walked the same paths we did in real life.
This is insane.
It got to the point I was looking forward to going to sleep to be with her.
Oh, my goodness.
Fast forward to today. My wife told me she felt distant from me.
As she should.
And
you got a whole nother relationship going on, but carry on.
Right. And I started to feel guilty because I thought what I was doing was harmless. But she's obviously noticed a change in me. So I confessed about all of it. At first, she thought that I was joking, but then she realized I was serious. She accused me of cheating on her and told her mom and sisters, who were calling me a cheating weirdo. She even threatened to tell my ex so she'll know what an effing loser I am. Now, I get that it's not anything a woman would want to hear, but it's not like I physically cheated. I don't want to lose my wife, but I don't think she can forgive me for this. That's it.
And this is categorized under, are we determining
I
if
think
he's
it
an a-hole?
was
Today I
off
effed up.
my chest or something.
Okay. All right. So this is a new one. He was supposed to die with that. He was not supposed to get that off his chest. He should have just, when she said something was distant, he should have just fixed it, because now you about to lose something real over something fake.
Right.
I have a rule. Had a rule when I was dating. I cannot go to my next if my next can't make me forget my ex.
Right.
You need healing. And the problem with that is their breakup wasn't bad. It was a decision that just had to be made ultimately because of an ultimatum. I'm moving here. You either come with me or we break up. And when that happens, of course, you have this tie or this bond with this person. The fact that he was still referring to her as the love of his life,
correct,
is a problem.
There is an update that I'd like to let you know once you finish your thought.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely want to hear. There is a such thing as emotional cheating. You don't have to be physical with someone. You can have a whole relationship in your mind, and it will ruin your other situation, as this situation has with his current wife. He left his reality for what is in fact a figment of his imagination, because the person who he's having this relationship with in his dreams isn't even aware it's happening.
Right.
So this is where I say he should have died with that on his chest. If
and
he
just
cares,
got it together and stopped dreaming. No, he cheated though, Byron.
I'm not saying what he did was right.
Would you consider what he did cheating?
When he starts controlling the situation, he's emotionally cheated.
Correct.
Now, I know people are going to be like, no, he didn't actually. And it's like, no, he didn't. But his relationship, you've created a bond with somebody inside your head. And granted,
and there's no beating that. The wife cannot compete with that. She can't compete with that. Your memories are going to do the best version of that person.
This is why I'm saying that he should have died with it, because even if he says, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore, how's she going to trust that? Know?
Exactly.
What he messed up is that he explained about being a lucid dreamer, and the fact that he was controlling it to develop a stronger bond with somebody who he was still in love with. Right. Instead of being like, man, I had this crazy dream and it shook me. I'm going to go get some counseling. I'm going to fix this because I don't like how I'm feeling right now, but I value you and what you have going on with me right now more than I value that. So all of this needs to die. And by him not doing that, then that's a mistake. Like, he messed up big time, and now he trying to be transparent, which is respectable. You got to respect his transparency of telling her everything up front. You need that in a marriage. Don't need honesty. You need,
He only brought it up because it's not transparent. He's answering a question because she said, you seem distant from me. What's going on?
Well, I mean, he could have lied about it, though.
I know.
So it wasn't transparency, but he was being honest. He was being honest. I didn't know.
Because the transparency would have been like, bruh,
this is what happened.
Something is happening to me.
Yeah. So you're right. It was honesty and not transparency. I wasn't thinking that she asked. But you're right. It was honesty and not transparency. He should have been transparent. He could have been, if he it's either be transparent or be a little less honest, my guy. Like, don't say all this weirdo stuff where you talking about I'm controlling my dreams to be with this girl. Like, you bugging.
I think in his mind,
he thought it was gonna make it better.
In his mind, he had to have thought. Well, he says, I get this is what a woman does. It's not what a woman wants to hear. I don't think anyone wants to hear that. First of all, what a woman wants to hear. But I think he thought because it wasn't physical,
that it was going to be just...
she would have just been upset
And so...
And we could move past this. But honestly, for me, if you're spending a year of sleeps, which is every single night.
Every night. No nights
You
off.
thinking about another person and looking forward. He said, I was looking forward to going to sleep so I could be with
walking
her.
the same walks. Talking the
We're
same
done.
talk.
That's cheating.
A whole year.
The relationship is irreparable.
Man,
at that point.
so here's where I'm at. Like, if it happened once and it wasn't something you were controlling, because that
Correct.
lucid
Like the
dream
first
thing,
dream.
like your first dream, like, okay, even if you did have sex in your dream, you had an orgasm in your dream with somebody who was your ex, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. You come from like, okay, this is a dream. If you tell me like, oh, but then I did it again the next night.
Right.
And this time I control what happened. It's like, what is happening here? Mm-hmm. He messed up big time in multiple ways.
But he still loves the woman. This is the ultimate problem. At the end
He
of the
still
day,
loves his ex.
He said he never got over her. When she said that she was about to get married, he lost all of his marbles. And this is what happened. So you don't really love this woman.
No, he don't. She's a consolation prize.
He made it sound boring. He said, we do taxes. I love her. She loves me. We do taxes. What?
We do our taxes.
Who puts that in a
all
description?
of us, we vacuum and wash dishes together. Like, you did chores.
You're roommates. And she's just a fine person to be around, but you're not in love with her.
Are they
and you don't
roommates?
love her.
Because if you would have had the bread twisty tie, then maybe...
That's only relevant if you saw the other episode.
Yeah, they gotta see the other. You gotta watch all of them. Don't just watch one episode. Who does that? Right. But anyway, no, that it's that's a lot. That is a whole lot, and it's kind of gross.
It is gross.
I feel sorry for the new wife, because she didn't deserve to be. If she actually loved him and married him for love, she does not deserve to be playing second fiddle to a memory who has moved on. Clearly. By the way,
yep,
moved completely on, and this guy is still just on her. Like,
all right, here are some comments, some questions for the OP, and some comments. Okay. He says, I do love my wife, which is why I married her.
Womp.
I just have feelings for my ex.
Nope.
Which I should have been honest about before we got married.
Don't like it.
I didn't mean for this to happen, but once it did, I wasn't able to stop it.
Yeah,
Living that life with my ex while sleeping felt like I was getting to experience what I missed out on in young adulthood.
Lord Jesus. With
that said, my wife left overnight for a hotel, and I don't know if she's coming back. I feel awful for hurting her. And then someone else asked, I'm asking this genuinely, not trying to be snarky at all. What did you think your wife's reaction was going to be? Did you expect what happened, or did you think she would be more accepting? I knew she would be upset, but I felt I owed her an explanation once she communicated that she felt distant. I didn't want to gaslight her perception. I just hadn't known that I didn't even know that she'd noticed a difference in me. I didn't think she would leave, though. She's turned off her location. I have no idea where she is or if she's all right, and her family won't speak to me now. I do love her, and I would like for our marriage not to end, but that seems inevitable now as I process this. All right, so this is the update now, okay?
Okay.
2 days ago, I posted about the fallout that occurred after I admitted to my wife that I'd been lucid dreaming about my ex and first love over the past year.
Still referring to her
as a first love.
Go ahead.
Yeah. After a major blow up where my wife called me every name in the book and got her family involved, which I understand completely, so please don't take this wrong, my wife left. I didn't know her whereabouts for over 24 hours. Early this morning, about 3 a.m., she came home and told me she wanted to file for divorce.
That hurts.
She didn't want to compete with a phantom.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's true. That's exactly what
right.
You can't win that fight either. But go ahead.
And deserve better than a F bag like me. But she doesn't want to move out or start the process because it's a pandemic. I guess this was written in, how it could have been 2022. Anyway, it was during the pandemic. And she doesn't want to live on one income. We roughly make the same amount of money, me $90K after taxes and her $85K after taxes.
Praise God.
I tried to apologize to her.
That's too late, bro.
For all the hurt I caused by making her feel like she wasn't enough, to assure her that I do love her even though I still love my ex.
Oh my gosh.
And explain to her that I've never physically cheated or had any inappropriate conversations with my ex. But she won't budge. She doesn't want me anymore. I can't blame her. I was selfish and I shouldn't have carried on what I now accept to be a one-sided emotional affair. So I agreed to stay together for financial purposes for 2 years.
So this is how they get to 3 years now. Because this happened back then and it's 2 years afterwards. This is the end of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or until the pandemic is over, whichever comes first. But she's kicked me out of our bedroom and basically claimed the second floor for herself. There's so much tension in the house right now, so I left as soon as the sun came up and went to a coffee shop to do some work. While there, I received a message on IG
from his ex?
From my ex. That my ex-wife sent her a long message from her own account telling her about everything that I told her.
Oh, Lord. Now your dream is over.
Because I hadn't spoken to her in a long time. But she saw that I had read the message and followed up about an hour later, telling me she needed to know the truth. So again, I confessed. I expected to be berated and called a loser again. But I had nothing else to lose. But she didn't think that my dreams about her were weird or creepy. She thought it was sweet that I still loved her, especially with her knowing that I'd never tried to have any inappropriate conversations or force her way into my way into her life. I'm aware that her not condemning my actions don't make them right or take away from the hurt I caused my wife. But knowing she didn't think negatively of me made me feel better.
He finna double down. He waiting on her to get a divorce now.
We messaged back and forth a couple of hours talking about our relationship and how it ended and the choices we made. In that, I learned that she and her fiance called off their engagements a few months ago.
Oh, he ready. So this was a prime opportunity for him and her. Is the Lord working for them? No, let me stop.
I also told her my wife was going to divorce me because of the revelation. She expressed her condolences, and that was the end of the conversation. I'm home now, and I can't help but wonder if this is the universe's way of putting my ex and I back on the path to reconciliation.
Bruh.
Hate me if you want. But I made a mistake and I hurt my wife and my marriage is over now.
So
or going to be. He already put it in the dirt, but the dirt ain't even on there.
Is over.
But
I'm very sad about that, but I might get to lie in the bosom of my first love, who I keep referring to as my first love.
Right.
Bro, this is a wild boy here. But go ahead.
Knowing that the person I ruined my marriage over doesn't think I'm the scum of the earth,
makes it all easier.
In gold.
It made it all easier.
I don't know what will happen now, but I can't imagine a friendship with my ex that won't blossom from this at the very least.
He's excited about this.
I know this won't make my wife happy since she contacted my ex to further shame me, but I may just not tell her.
Wise decision, as you should have just shut all this foolishness down, because nobody would have known but you and God if you would have just shut up. But okay.
We are, after all, divorcing. I hope the next few months and
allegedly
years can result in healing for both my wife and myself, and that we'll both live happy lives. The person goes, I hope you don't take it out on her when you realize that your old flame isn't the person she was in your dreams.
Oh my gosh. Oh, let me tell you something. They say never meet your heroes.
Right.
The worst thing in the planet, as somebody who's done it, is go back and get the girl who got away.
Yep.
That's the worst thing on the planet. Because oftentimes, if you are successful, let me be careful about how I say everything I say.
Why?
No, I'm just saying.
It's just the internet. They'll just cancel you.
Right. They'll just cancel me. No, it's not about being canceled, but it's just like somebody sent me a meme the other day. Right. And it's a guy laying. There's a cartoon drawing of somebody. This guy laying next to his girl, and he had this agitated look on his face, like she was getting on his nerves. Okay, and the meme effectively said, when you were more excited about the journey than the destination, and now that you're here, you hate it.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Because she getting on your nerves.
Right.
And people change over the years, and you're holding on to this. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good example of a time when I was really just not excited. But people can hype stuff up for you so much to where you will be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has happened. This is the greatest thing on the planet that's happening. And then when it happens, then it's just like, yo, are you serious? Because either A, it didn't live up to expectations, or your memory was better than...
That's usually the case. People always want to remember, like, if after a breakup, as time passes, unless it was like a traumatic thing that happened, or the person was abusive or whatever, even then, people still choose to remember the good stuff.
The time heals all wounds thing is real. Like, there's so many times where you'll look back, I'm like, I blame one specific female and my job, but more this particular female, for being on blood pressure medicine, because you stressed me out so much. And it's like, I wasn't on blood pressure medicine before.
Right.
I was working. Now you get to the point where okay, I don't really need it like that. But at that time, I wasn't on nothing, but you got my head hurting. Like, you are a stressful human being just because of the way, she moved and the silly stuff, and you didn't know what was going to set her off. And it was just kind of like, bruh, whew. Mm-hmm. And it's like, time passes.
I am not the female. Let's just make that clear.
Please believe we wouldn't be together at this moment.
Let's just make that clear.
Right. No, this is wild for you. But anyway, it's like, and I'm not at any point of imagination in my mind, never had a moment of let me go back to that situation because it was bad. But what I'm saying, I'm just using that scenario as an example of people getting into situations like that. And then later on, because they're getting desperate or they're lonely or what have you, wake up and be like, I wonder what, on Facebook and Instagram, somebody send a hey big head message. Oh, she looking pretty good. What? Wonder what they... And you forgot, like, yo, this bra used to stress you out.
Right.
That's what they say, like, therapists loved when Facebook opened up to the public. Did you hear about that?
No.
Oh my gosh. It was like business has been booming. Because what was happening is...
Oh, Facebook. Yeah, okay. That would make sense. Mm-hmm. When
business,
Facebook
not when it first came, but when it first opened up to everybody.
Right.
Because at first it was just colleges, and you had to be from specific colleges, and then you had to have a student email address to get involved. But that was
current. That was current stuff, current relationships. When you now go open up Facebook, now you're bringing up old friends, old
people going, what high school you went to.
Right.
I didn't even know my Facebook was open. And I went in there because, one of my cousins got a church, and I went in there to try to see something, and it was like, they say your stuff's still open. I'm like, what? Okay, so I went back in there, and I ain't posted in 10 years and seen something from 2 days prior with this girl I went to elementary school. It had to be like the second grade. Post a picture on it to my, hey, Byron, such and such and such and such. Wow. And I'm like,
right.
Now, had this been, I'm single.
Right.
And my life sucks. We used to be friendly long time ago. We grew up together. Y'all learned to tell that story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you say, hey, how you doing? Now all of a sudden you got messages flying.
Right.
But the problem even more so than that part is the married people. Because you got situations like this fella. If Instagram wasn't there wouldn't have been any more communication.
Right.
You know, back in the day, you had to work to find. You moved to a new state.
It's over. It's
Done.
to find that
Like now, you can sit back here. I know everything that's happening in your life. Like we ain't never separated. Just hey, look, I'm gonna send you a message. We're gonna be together. We're gonna figure out a way to link up. I'm gonna be video chatting with you, Zoom call, whatever, FaceTime. And all of a sudden, you got a whole long distance relationship with somebody you shouldn't even been in communication with.
Right.
And the fact that it's so easy and people try to dismiss it as innocent and this is this is just puppy love and we
reconnecting.
You reconnect, and those therapists was like it was causing so many problems because you had feelings coming up from elementary school that weren't really dealt with, but you're like, oh, this is my first crush when we was 12, and I wondered what happened with her. And they look pretty, still look pretty good. No kids, not married, okay. And then they send you a message, and you know how things go. That's good, and all you need is that wrong day,
right?
One argument with your spouse, it's getting on my nerves. If I had to tell you to take out this trash one more time, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And you start like the little stuff, you start nitpicking with your significant other. And it's, I never had to worry about this when I was with such and such. You know, of course you didn't. You was kids. Everything is great. Everything was all rosy. You went to
80-20. 80-20 rule.
80-20. You forget about that bad stuff. You forget about the bad stuff, but everything is so present with your current person. And the moment you have a moment with them, it's just like, oh my gosh, I hate it here. And it's like, nigga, what are you doing? That's a mistake. So, I mean, good luck to this fella and whatever he ends up, but she could be a completely different person.
Yes, and I feel terrible for the wife, the current wife who's
the current wife she did the right thing by tapping out, because this guy still sounds like he's going to go back. That was an uphill battle, because he was, the way that he worded the initial thing where he said, even in the title, it was like, this person is my love. Right.
Like, this is who I was meant to be.
This is who I was meant to be with.
And he said, I admit, even if she were to read it, because sometimes people because Reddit is such a big thing that somebody that this person knows will find that story.
Right.
The real woman.
Right.
And they will say, hey, and then, sometimes people write it knowing that that's a possibility.
Right.
And they'll write it to be like, I was innocent, I never did anything, to make it seem like, if you read it,
this guy was.
But once you read it, it's like, my first love. I want my other girl. I've never gotten over her. Like, you reading it and you're like, sir,
you don't
love her enough. You love her in like a way that's, because I can't get this other woman, I love this woman. That's, nobody wants to be that.
That was the second choice.
Correct.
Don't go with your second choice. And okay. I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. If you get to the point of feeling like you need to cheat, just leave. Just leave. Don't, because you need to really get counseling. But if you get to the point of actually cheating, just leave. Just get you a whole new relationship with a new person, because. Well,
also fix what's broken there.
Inside of you.
Because with cheating comes, like, we talked about, there was that movie, I forgot the name of the movie right now, but the girl tells the guy when she's found out that he's cheated, there's always I don't know when this happened for you.
It's always a point.
But there's always a point when you say to yourself, okay, I can do this or I can not do this. And I don't know when your point was, but you had one
and where
you could have reconsidered what you did, and you went ahead and did it.
Yep.
And because of that, I could never love you anymore.
It's crazy.
And very good movie.
But we don't remember the name of it.
Closer. That was the name.
Okay.
It was disturbing, but well done in terms of they didn't show you anything. Nothing. They didn't show anything, but the way they spoke and the way they interacted with each other, it was all verbal.
Right.
It was very well done. Anyway, in my opinion. But
if you like rom-coms.
It's just not a rom-com. It is not a rom-com, but
What is it? Dramedy?
It was not a dramedy either. There's nothing funny about that movie. It's just intense all the way around.
I'm sorry. This is a drama film.
But yeah, in that's the problem with cheating. When you get to the point where there's so much to consider. Like
yes.
you have to consider the other person, the lies.
You got to keep it
that
up.
You have to keep how you get to have sex. A lot has to happen. You have to find the place. You have to agree with the other person.
Unless you're a nasty, dirty truck stop bathroom type person.
Even that is awful because that's gross. But whatever. But you have to agree to go to that room
with that person.
Too
many times you can stop and be like, I'm not doing this.
People can't just walk into a bathroom together and nobody look around. So you have to be sneaky about it and figure out how we're going to get this done. There's a lot of planning that has to happen before a sexual encounter happens.
And he was just drunk. I'm like, what are you doing?
With somebody. So then the lies that happen have to happen afterwards. What you have to say, do, feel, act. And to continue, people who continuously having a consistent affair. That's a lot of you need a lot of counseling.
You've created something that is like your marriage is over. I'm all for forgiveness and stuff like that. I believe, people make mistakes. I understand why in the Bible they made that exception.
But the cheating.
I understand because, you're not supposed to get divorced at all. I understand why the exception is infidelity due to the hardness of man's heart. But I think they worked
around it, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
In the Bible, they just made another wife, so it's not considered cheating.
Well, yeah, that's the next level when they're talking about you can have multiple wives. But the thing is, like, when you start messing with somebody else's wife, you cross the line. However, back then, I guess with certain areas of polygamy, they was how many of you can afford if everybody was cool with it, but you didn't mess with somebody else's wife. And that got you excommunicated. So the thing is, when you're talking about that level of deceit, I understand it because it's kind of like in today's society where it's typically one person with one person. I understand. Like that's very, it's damaging to the point of like, trying to put my words together in a proper way. Yeah, it's just no good. Like it's better to leave than to cheat. And especially people who have affairs and just keep doing it. Like you have to keep a certain level of something has to be broken inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like in order to keep doing that, something has to be really broken inside of you to keep doing that, especially somebody who's good to you.
Right.
You just like, something, they're not doing the right thing that I want. So I'm going to go and do something with somebody else who may give me this payoff and then come back to you like nothing happened. It's wild. Anyway, off of that. Next.
All right.
Or was there more to that story? I'm sorry.
No.
I'm glad there's nothing else to that story.
I think that was it. Insane. Yeah.
Insane.
All right. This one comes from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole?
Okay.
Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I have every right to defend my home after someone started kicking my door in?
Okay.
I, 27 male, and my girlfriend, 26 female, have been together for 2 years. I am black. I'm a black man raised in the inner city, and she's a white girl from the suburbs. We grew up different, and normally that's okay. But last week, someone tried to break into my house, and it started causing problems.
Okay.
I'm taking care of my mother now that she's getting up in age. She just had surgery on her legs and, this is in caps, cannot walk. I need to stress this. She physically can't support herself, so I'm doing everything for her. Her bedroom is in the back of the house, right next to the back door that leads to the porch. At 2 a.m. last Wednesday, my mom calls me scared, saying someone's trying to break in the house and she can hear them banging on the back door. My girlfriend was staying with me in my bedroom when I got the call. I jumped up, grabbed my gun, and ran to the back and started yelling for whoever was there to get away because they were still banging on the door when I got there. Things got quiet, so I checked the camera on the porch and saw them standing there. It was 3 people, and one of them said, "Keep going, it doesn't matter." So I used the speaker on my camera to say I have a weapon, it's loaded, and if you kick that door one more time, I will shoot. My girlfriend is behind me at that point, screaming not to shoot them and that it isn't worth it. The 3 people on the porch don't move, so I put my phone down, cock my weapon, and I say, I'm going to count to 3, and if you aren't gone by the time I get to 3, I'm firing. As soon as I counted 1, they ran away, and my girlfriend was screaming at me that there's never a reason to threaten to shoot someone, ever. I told her we're not having this conversation right now, and we need to call the police. Yes, I should have done that earlier, but I was too worried about my mother to think about it. The police get called, they come and see the shoe prints on my fence and on the back door from where they were kicking, and start patrolling the area, but don't find them. When the police leave, my girlfriend starts yelling at me, saying she can't believe I'd be willing to shoot someone because they kicked my door.
Oh my God.
I said it isn't about the house. It's the fact that my mother is laying in bed helpless just a few feet from that door, and they could have done anything. Stole things, killed her, raped her, a combination. I have no idea. I wasn't taking any chances. She says there's never a reason to hurt or kill someone ever because violence isn't the answer. It just makes
she should just die.
It just makes you like the person you're hurting. I told her the only reason she thinks violence isn't the answer is because she's never had someone try to physically harm her before. And I'm not going to apologize for what I did because I had every right to defend myself, my home, my mother, and her. She's been angry at me ever since and will barely even speak to me. I'm trying to consider her perspective. I really am. But I'm not going to give up my ability to defend myself because she doesn't believe violence will ever be necessary. Am I the a-hole?
I'm going to need the young lady to have a nice day.
Be blessed.
She need to have a nice day. See, this is what happens, and I don't want to bring race into stuff like this, but
it's a factor only because he
brought it up. He brought it up, so I'm going. Do you remember Jonathan Majors?
Yes, of course.
And the frustration he had with that young lady telling her, you need to be more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. And it's like, you don't have the capacity to do that, ma'am. There's a certain level of...
There's no reference for her.
How? How is there ever... You see how this is going to play out. I'm not somebody who's always like, stick with your kind. I'm not doing all that. I'm not being racist or anything like that. But you do have to understand that you cannot expect certain things from certain people who have no point of reference.
Correct.
You can't expect it.
It's like me trying to get you to understand as a woman...
Oh,
if I'm
about to say something. I thought you were about to go a different direction. Like, here we go.
If I'm a woman walking into a dark parking lot, there's a different feeling that I have than you have as a man. You might have an inkling to what that is, but it's very different. And every woman, who's in their right mind, there are some do-do-do-dos who are just like la la la, gets that feeling.
Right.
And I can't ever get you to understand what I'm talking about. If you're just walking around, it doesn't occur to you, it's never happened to you, don't know what I'm talking about. You can have a conceptual understanding, but you'll never really know what that feels like because you're not a woman.
So I'm gonna bring it home a little different for the people in a different way. I was with a young lady a long time ago who was a woman of the night. Okay, she was in them streets. That's not something. I'm not going to talk bad about this situation or this individual any further than that. But that's just, if you watch prior episodes, you know what I mean. This individual, I said, there's certain things that you should not be exposed to, because you won't have a point of reference. because your mind won't go there. Now, this is kind of the opposite of what we just heard about, the danger situation. But this is a case of you wouldn't get this unless you had been through something. So I'm asking him to, of course, have a little empathy for her, but also understand the relationship probably ain't gonna work because she's never going to get that. So my situation, I learned that you cannot, in my mind, I think of somebody saying, I don't wear perfume because I'm allergic or I have allergies. I look at it a little bit differently now. It's a red flag. And it wasn't until I went through my little situation and I had somebody hood hit me to the game and says, this isn't about allergies on your skin because you're washing your clothes with Downy in it. If you had a real problem with sensitive skin, you wouldn't use any fragrance on anything because it would be a problem for you.
Right.
This is about you not leaving scents on your clients so they can go home to their wives.
Ew.
And when it clicked, I was like, oh my God. But that's not a point of reference. Somebody who doesn't live that life
right.
would
Peep
be
that. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even think that way. You see what I'm saying? In my mind, I would imagine other people watching this wouldn't ever even put those two things together. Somebody got said they got sensitive. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, well, shoot, I won't buy you no perfume. It's like, nah, it wasn't about that. And it's not going to ever be about that for somebody who has no point of reference for that. So they would think, what you mean you don't buy perfume? Yeah. You know what? Perfume is crazy. So this person who probably has experienced some stuff like that, and I got questions about why people decide they want to kick his door in at 2 a.m. Like, what type of neighborhood are y'all in? You know what I'm saying? Which, whatever.
It's neither here nor there. That's where he lives.
That's where he live at. But I'm saying he's obviously experienced something in the past to A, need a gun, B, react that way, and C, to have those type of people close by to try to get in. They obviously thought either he had something they wanted or, I don't know what the other or is. I was going somewhere but didn't have
My thing is, I know he brought race up, but there are some people who just believe that whether it's black, white, whatever, that violence is never the answer. But my thing was, what was her alternative?
Give me something else.
He didn't actually use the gun.
No, he didn't. He gave him a long countdown and everything.
He gave them because
a
lot of people with guns would have just started shooting through their door because they're crazy.
Yeah.
And been justified because the person said it don't even matter. Somebody's
home. And they kicked the door. You got it on.
It doesn't matter. They said it doesn't matter. So that means that's some ruthless people up there.
They was coming to cause harm.
They wanted whatever they wanted.
They were coming to cause harm.
And for her, like, we already have, this is my problem, okay? And maybe I'll be insensitive. I don't know. But I'll be perceived as being insensitive. But we already have an emergency going on.
Right.
You screaming and causing another emergency, I'm trying to regulate a situation happening here where we are in imminent danger.
Right.
Maybe this is how you react because you haven't
dealt with nothing.
You haven't been through stuff. Just shh. I would rather you shut down and be quiet and just shut up.
Freeze up and go in the corner.
That also doesn't work if we have to flee. Because now it's two emergencies I'm dealing with.
Well, he wasn't playing with his mom who can't walk, but still.
I know, but I'm saying the mom's situation is not something that can be helped.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, the mom did the right thing. She called him and said, hey, it's 2 a.m. Here. Something is happening. And he got into, to me, he handled it
very well.
Superb. He got up. Yeah. He said, listen, I got the gun. And he cocked the gun because he was ready. Because once I hear the people say, it don't even matter, I know that it's going
bad.
down.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're kicking this door down and it doesn't even matter. 3 people, that's a lot of people to break into one home.
Yep.
And for them to say it doesn't matter, that's justified in my opinion.
Yep.
Him coming and saying, listen, if I didn't even have a gun, that's what I would say. I would say, listen, I've got a gun. And if you don't get off this porch right now, I'm going to use it.
Right. Yeah, that's
and I have you on video with the justification.
Right.
I'm not going to go to jail for it. So you make a choice.
Got you
make
on
your
video,
choice.
got your footprints, you got your doors.
So her screaming, saying violence is never the answer.
She bugging, bro.
This is wild to me. That's
she needs
wild.
to be more like Coretta Scott King. That's what she needs.
I don't even think it's fair to bring race into it because.
No, I'm just.
I know he said that because he's from the inner city, and she's saying, "Well, you have this violent," and I think it's a preconceived notion on her part because he's been through. I don't know, whatever situations they've exposed where they're different, so she sees him as a different person. But I don't think it's fair to even talk about him being black.
No, it doesn't matter. The black and white thing. What he did
was something a white man would do.
Yeah, the thing is,
what's the difference?
Black and white doesn't matter. The difference is the upbringing, and that's why I brought up my story. It's kind of like both of us was black, but where I grew up and where the other person who hit me to the gang grew up is like. We was different environments. You seen and was exposed stuff. So, but it's just like at that point, my point I'm trying to make is this relationship ain't gonna work.
I see what you're saying because when I first moved here and we went to Florida, remember that time?
Yeah.
And we were standing in front of that really nice hotel that we were staying at, and this man flicked a cigarette, and it was a brand new hotel, and I was like, "Hey, you littered. Excuse me, sir, you littered." Because coming from Canada, at the time that I was in Canada, I don't know now, I haven't lived there for a while. That's something I could have said to somebody and they would have been like, oh, okay. Or they would have just been upset and done nothing. Right. I didn't see myself putting myself in harm's way.
And in Florida, where they eat people's faces on this plan.
Florida man. I didn't know anything about Florida man at the time, but like, your sister was like, girl, if you don't shut up and come over here right now. And I was like, what is the problem? But that's because I didn't have a point of reference. So I understand her. But
he was walking in Canada. That man was losing his mind. I'm like, yo, cross the street. Let's go.
Right.
I'm like, when I was down here, downtown 7 days a week, you see some crazy stuff, like literally seeing somebody a few feet away from you getting their purse snatched and running. And it's just like, all right. No, it's time to be over there. We let that be. It's time to move. We got.
Well, it's about staying out of people's way and just being safe, choosing the safest route. But I brought that up because it was like you guys have been here long enough to know that's not something you needed to do. No. Right? Where that makes sense to me because I'm new to the environment, but I don't care what city you live in, what world you live in. If your door's being kicked open and you can see the people and you hear the person say it doesn't even matter, that's the only response that I see. Right. Other than him saying, "Mom, take your phone." The mom was and has her own phone, so she can call.
Police at the same
While
time.
I'm doing this, you call the cops. That's what should have been happening.
Or
the girlfriend screaming
should have been calling the police.
Well, that's why I tried to say her screaming.
Didn't help the situation.
But the thing is, what was her alternative? Let them break in and do what?
Take what they want.
And then you would have, what if they wanted to take lives? What if they wanted to rape her?
Let them take what they want.
Ridiculous.
And she just, because violence is not the answer.
She would have gotten violated though.
But violence is not the answer for her. So
and then that relationship either way is doomed because she would have looked at him like you did nothing.
He would have been weak then. There was no way for him to be right. There's no way for him to be right. But yeah, no. Not to say
that he could have tried. Things could have still gone wrong. He could have shot.
Yeah.
They could have had guns. Could have shot him, and it still could have happened. What he did, in my opinion,
probably the best he could have done, other than call the police.
Best way to deal with a situation, trying to defend your mother and your wife and your girlfriend and your home. And
depend on what neighborhood he's in. The police could have took a second to get there anyway. What was that? Am I the a-hole?
Yeah.
No, sir, you're not.
For telling her that he had every right. That was his thing.
Get out of
He
here.
had every right to defend her. Someone says,
Now he was like, okay, they left and I put her out with them because you want.
That's terrible. Nah, you're not the a-hole. You're protecting your mom and your home. That's survival, not aggression. She
Right.
probably doesn't get it because she's never been in that kind of situation. Y'all definitely need to talk, but you did what you had to.
Right.
Also remind her that these people knew you were home and
didn't care.
immediately leave after they knew you were armed. Don't put up with your girl's behavior. She's living in a fantasy world.
Something ain't real there.
Someone says 100% not the a-hole. Your girlfriend caught a glimpse of how ugly the real world can be. You're kinder and more understanding than me. I would have broken up with her 100% after she hindered my ability to defend our lives in a stressful situation.
Say it again.
You actually seem like a really nice guy, warning them that you had a weapon too. I ain't warning anyone
There it is.
in that situation. You ain't got to know I have a gun until it goes off. And that is how most people would have reacted.
100%. 100%. Yeah, sir, you were well within your right to tell her to have a nice day, as I love to say.
He didn't tell her to have a nice day. He just said,
I'm just saying
he
you
doesn't
would-
want to apologize, and she's mad at him.
No, she can still have a nice day and be mad. I'm not saying leave her alone. I'm just saying
I would have left her.
I would have as well.
In my situation, for
You
me,
know how I feel about it.
now listen, fight or flight is a real thing,
It is.
right? You cannot, I don't know what the word is. Blame is what I'm going to say. You can't blame someone for how they react in a stressful situation.
Because you will react very differently than what you say.
Some
Scream at the
people will spring
TVs.
into action. Some people will fall apart.
Yeah.
Some people will be useless. We just watched Squid Games where we saw that very thing. And it's understandable when someone falls apart in a highly stressful situation.
But that was infuriating.
Only
though.
because we knew that he said that he was a Marine. But we don't know if he actually was a Marine. Second of
We
all,
don't spoil it for anybody else, but
if
you haven't watched season 2.
very good, highly recommend. Second of all, like I said, you can't blame someone for how that's a real guttural, can't help how you react type situation. It's not something you're thinking about. It's just how your body reacts. But after something like that has happened, even if she was screaming at him in the moment and then days later came back and been like, sir, I was a fool.
Right.
I don't know why I acted like that.
The logic ain't there.
It was just no logic from beginning to end.
Nope.
And days later, still sticking to her
mad.
guns. And I'm like,
Time to go.
that's wild.
Yep.
Because sometimes, some people are just bad in those situations, and you just know, okay, I'm now going to have to take care of you as a child in this situation
Right.
because stuff is happening, and you're
no good.
You're also adding to the chaos.
Right.
But now I need to know that I need to come and be like, come on,
Let's go.
like how that guy when Squid Games reference again, when she was falling apart and he just slapped her in the face like, get it together. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to take care of people. Sometimes you have to just take over the entire thing.
But you understand what you're dealing with. But the thing is, do you want to deal with that?
That's up to you, but it's not so often. Like, there's another Reddit story, maybe we'll read it another day, where they got robbed. It was a girl, her brother, and her boyfriend, and at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And the man, her boyfriend, ran off, left them in the dust, and the brother beat the person up, recovered the gun and beat the person up.
That's a lot.
And she was like, I can't look at him the same. He left
because her brother. Wait. So her boyfriend left her
ran.
and ran.
They got held up at gunpoint, and the boyfriend just
Took off
running. Didn't pull her with him. Just left the two of them there.
And then the other
And
brother
the
fought.
brother talked the person down, grabbed the gun, and beat the person up.
He must have been a Marine or something.
Right. And I can't remember the exact
He just took the
logistics
gun
of
like
how
one of
that
those movies,
happened.
popped the gun out of his hand, had it facing him
Movie
like
stuff.
some.
But at the end of the day, she was like, he came back
But he did come back.
No, she called him or something like that. He never came back to check on them or anything. He ran all the way home or some crazy stuff like that. She was like, he can't protect me. The brother was like,
oh, we got to talk about this. Because the thing is, I was talking about what we're looking like on time. I'm sorry.
54.
Okay, we got to stop. Next episode, we're going to talk about this, the illusion that you have to keep up sometimes inside your head to make certain things keep going, be it job, relationship, friendship, etc. We'll be back. Again, like, favorite, subscribe, share. Please share. Comment, but be respectful. We need more eyes on our stuff. And we need you to be a part of it because it's not just our stuff.
Be a part of our community.
It's your stuff. I said join us on our journey together. And I want you to do that earnestly. Share your ideas with new stuff you want us to talk about because we're going to venture. It's not always going to be Reddit stories. I want you all to join us for sure. At any rate, we'll talk to you another time. And please continue to have the greatest times of your life. Goodbye.
Bye.